Hi. So the time is 6:51 p.m. Saudi Arabian time. How you guys doing? So in today's video, I am talking about Nara Smith. Did I get it? Nara Smith versus Onezwa Mbola. Yeah. Onezwa Mbola. Who is Nara Smith and who is Onezwa Mbola? And what are we dragging here? Or what are they dragging here? What is the bone of contention? What is happening in the food content creation space on the social media platform? Well, Nara Smith is a beautiful food content creator. She cooks from scratch, scratch in code, guys, because I don't get all these arguments about cooking from scratch. I find it funny because the real people who have cooked from scratch, they are our ancestors, our grandmas. These people put their lives on the line to cook. Like, that's how you have to go to the farm to get all your ingredients. That is what the people before our time did. So I don't get all these arguments. What is even cooking from scratch? Let's start with what is cooking from scratch. Cooking from scratch is simply I'll say it has various definitions or various meanings, whatever cooking from scratch means to you. For me, it could be just buying my ingredients, my food items from the guy that supplies it in the van, like you guys have seen, and I get to cook my stuff, pour my water, fry my onions in hot water, put my ingredients, add my seasoning, spices, all that stuff, and the food is ready. To another person, cooking from scratch could be ordering food from the store and, you know, order it from the store, heat it up in the microwave, and it's set. The person has cooked from scratch. Maybe according to the person feels they've cooked from scratch. Well, let's get to it. Who is Nara Smith? From my findings, have I seen Nara Smith before? Sure, I've seen her. I'm not always on Instagram, but I know I've seen her. I've seen her reel. She's beautiful, and she kind of describes her content or whatever she's doing. She talks slowly. I don't follow her. I don't really dwell on her, on her content to find out everything she has done. So, but all I know so far is she is a beautiful model. Hello, who's here? Hi. She's a beautiful model. She has a baby. She's nursing currently. She's married to a handsome dude in all, maybe in all ramifications. She's pretty. She's popular. She's of German and South African descent, and and she lives in America. Yes, let's not leave that apart because America is going to be coming up in all of my discussions. The USA. And that is it. She tries to tell us, oh, my husband had cough yesterday night, so I decided to make him cough syrup. Here is how I make my cough syrup. Oh, my child is this. And then she proceeds to, make you something that you can take and your cough is gone. So that is Naira Smith for you. And let's not forget, she is very beautiful. When you watch content, appearance matters. Someone can just look at my content and right now, and decide to zoom off. Yes, because maybe they don't like my color or maybe they don't like my face. But Naira Smith, she has what will keep you there. And she has a lot of following. She has a lot of following. On TikTok, I think she has over 7 million followers, and that's a whole lot. So you can imagine someone of that nature with her following, with her beauty, with what she does. It's really everything is on her side. Now let's flip the script. We have Onezwa Mbola. Who is Onezwa Mbola from my findings? Because I took my time to really go into Onezwa's content on TikTok, and I love it because I could feel her, I could identify her. She's of my skin color, she's a black woman, she's African, And Onezwa is from South Africa. She has a child, she has a son. She dotes on her son, and sometimes he also cooks with her. Like she allows him to do some things, and we can always hear his baby voice in the background. She really goes into her farm to get her ingredients. It could be cabbage, it could be anything she wants to cook for the day, most of it. And she tries to explain to us and tell us that this is me. I am going to the farm. I make food with things I plant or forage. I always hear her say that in her intro before her videos. Things she forages and things she gets from her farm. And that's so beautiful. She gets this, she whips out, recipes and makes lovely ingredients, and that's so nice of her. Hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. Welcome. If you're new here, please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Okay, so she makes this lovely meal. Sometimes I watch some of her content, and I love what she's doing. Honestly, I would say, guys, please ignore the baby cry. My baby wants to come in here, but I'm live, so I can't allow him. So whenever I watch her content, I'm like inspired. When did I start watching her content? Not so. It hasn't been long, because how did I get to even find who Onezwa is? I found out because there's also another food content creator right now. She's from Zambia. Her name is Nzila. How can I? But her name is Nzila something. Nzila. She's from Zambia, the Zambia. And I found her also on TikTok. So she made, what did she make from scratch? She made shoe polish, guys. So we're going back into the era of making things from scratch, from the food content creation aspect. People are cooking from scratch, trying to make things from scratch, probably to appease the or wow their audience, make their audience go wow. So you're actually making bubble gum from scratch because you want to chew bubble gum, like Nara Smith. So Nzila, on her own part, is all made. I've seen her make shoe polish. I've seen her make sanitary parts. In fact, she cooks her lots of food. She tells us about her childhood, but that is not about Nzila for today. Meanwhile, Nzila has her own food content creation space, and she's also on YouTube, but she's not so, she's not really active here, because I've checked out to know if she's on YouTube, but she's not popular here. So let's go back to Nara Smith and Onezwa Mbola, because they are the bone of contention today. Onezwa tries to show us how she even goes to the grocery shop, which is like, she says the drive is it over 4 hours or 3 hours from her village to the city or wherever she goes to, you know, buy the food stuff she needs that she can't find in her farm, like, the butter, jam, and all those stuff. And she also sells stuff on her maybe online shopping platform. She's doing well for herself, I can see, and I love her content. Like when I say I relate to her, because she draws that Africanness in me. Because I remember when I used to go to my grandma's place for holiday when I was in primary and secondary school, and she takes me to her farm while I may not do anything, because probably maybe the city kid, or but at least I follow my grandma to the farm, and I watch her instruct the guy who will climb the tree to cut down the palm tree, the palm nuts, and the processing. I remember I will always stay around and maybe start complaining, Makaelawa, that's in Igbo, and which means, grandma, let's go, because I'm tired of the farm, I'm tired of the bushes, I'm tired of things biting me. So imagine if it was in this day and age and I'm creating such content, guys, my channel will blow, because I'm really in the forest, I'm really in the bush with my grandma. So you can imagine, this is Onezwa with her little garden, she gets her corn. So it's easier for me to be biased in this, because I'm already seeing a bit of me in Onezwa, my Africanness. So versus Naira Smith. Now, the bone of contention here is, people are saying that Naira Smith copies Onezwa. Or Onezwa is calling out Naira Smith for copying her. Guys, first of all, what is even copying? Let's say draws inspiration. This person, people say, Onezwa will say, okay, I made boba tea. Now Naira Smith is making boba tea. She just made it, I've made mine. I don't know how to feel about it, because let me say I've shot so much or so many contents and they're all lined up, and it happened to be that somebody out there has posted one of the contents I've shot in the past days, but they're still there for editing. Let's just imagine that, okay, Onezwa posted hers first, and Naira Smith, maybe she shot this a month ago, or because that's how content creation works. You shoot a lot of content and you have to take your time to edit, ask yourself, which one should I post first? And imagine somebody now post it and then you post yours. And everybody starts saying, hey, you copied, hey, this person just posted how to make pizza. Now you've posted your own how to make pizza. Something like that. That is how I see these things. Is it really copying, or let's call it drawing inspiration, because we all draw inspiration from each other. Like I remember posting my marble bread, the bread where you have chocolate inside and then you have another type of white bread on top. When you open it, it gives you that marble effect. And someone said, I think that was okay. She said, "Oh, you Hilda Bassi, you are copying well." Something of that nature. That's not exactly, but the comment should be on that video. The truth is, the first time I made that type of bread was in 2020 when I started baking. 2020 during the pandemic, where everybody, everybody was cooking, watching all sorts, baking all sorts, and that was when I started baking. So imagine I post this and I made it, I posted, and I posted it in 2024 now, and that's the first time I'm even doing it on my channel, because that's when I thought of doing it. And someone says, "Oh, Hilda Bassi, you're copying for Hilda Bassi. Oh, she just posted it." I don't even follow Hilda Bassi in the first place, but do I see her content from time to time? Yes, on TikTok when I scroll fast, and I also know she has a YouTube channel. So I don't go about watching her channel. I'm not subscribed to her, but I may see her content on my timeline from time to time, but I don't really watch. But on TikTok, I love her brand related content. So imagine she posts something and I post mine, and someone will say, "Oh, you copied." So that is what is bringing me to this part now. Nara Smith has a lot of following on Nezwa, on her part, has some following, because she's the smaller creator. It's very possible for the large following of Nara Smith to say, "Oh, Onezwa, you're not copying Nara Smith." Or I just imagine you discover the creator first. Which creator did you discover first? If you discovered Nara's first, you will always see Nara's content first. If you discover Onezwa first, you will always see Onezwa's content first. So if Onezwa has done something that Naira has done and you follow Onezwa regularly, when Naira does it, you won't even know. And when Onezwa does something that Naira has done, you will also won't know. As long as the person you follow has done it first, you're just like all over the place. Oh, this person has copied this person. Let me tell you, the truth is nobody has a monopoly of ideas. We all draw inspirations from others, and there is nothing new under the sun. Whatever you think you've done, somebody else has done it a lot of times. I mean, a lot of people before you, a lot of people, like even in before the time of social media, have done it before you. Now I'll give you an explanation. There are contents I like to do, or there are recipes I want to make. I just think of it. Oh, what should I do? Okay, let me add pumpkin to this pizza. Let me do pumpkin vegetable pizza. I've not watched it anywhere. I just thought of it. And I go ahead and make this pizza. And then maybe someone watches it and say, "Oh, you've copied to so person." But I just thought of it. Am I going to argue? No. Because I know in this world of content creation, I found out that whatever you are doing, somebody else has done it. If I go to search for that content now, I'll find maybe exact, but it may not be exactly, but you will see some, similarities, some, identities that make it look like, okay, you're drawing inspiration from this person. I may not know the person. There is nothing really new under the sun. I do not like the comparison, but at the same time, it could also be that Nara Smith is also drawing from smaller content creators, drawing inspirations from them, and maybe also drawing ideas from them and creating in her own way. Even if two people are in a room and we give you, or somebody gives them the same idea, the same instruments, the same materials, and says, go and create this thing for me. Do you know that those two people are going to come up with something different? They may try their best to replicate what the person who gave them the assignment said they should do. It may just be in their front. They may try to replicate the idea, but they are going to come up with different things. Let's say, please mold this stuff for me. What am I going to use here? Okay, I'll say here's a box. I have a box here, and I give two people in this space everything they need for this in an assignment. I say, please mold this box for me. Make sure it is in this color. Make sure the ingredients you use are the exact for this. Guys, do you know that the two people are going to try their best to make something exactly how it is, just like write an exam, but there must be differences. That is it. We all have our different, we all add our different touch to whatever ideas we have. We may not come up with the same thing, but we are taking the same path to achieve a goal. Maybe it is make that bubble gum, but you're going to, yeah, go different ways to create that stuff. And that, what is the bubble gum? How is the bubble gum going to taste? That is now where we'll find out who did it best and who didn't do it best. How is the taste? How is the color? How is this box? Is the shape this way? Did it come up like this? So when we talk of copying, Nara Smith versus Onezwa Mbola, who is copying who? I will never join this argument or who is copying who. My own is to enjoy everybody's content. Oh, you're copying. We all look at other people's content. We all draw inspiration. Come to think of it, you may have seen somebody's content. Maybe that's a while, months ago, or even years ago or days ago. And then sometime you want to create something. You start thinking, okay, how am I going to do this? You're not thinking of the content you saw, but your mind has a way of putting things you've seen or thought before into play. And then when you're going to create that content, whatever you've seen before or listened before will come into the thoughts you're going to create, and it will affect or your design, affect your recipe, affect whatever you're going to do or whatever you intend to do. So that is how it is. Now let's assume Nara Smith is copying now. Let's bring it to the brand deals and influencing and content creation. Let's imagine Nara Smith is copying from Onezwa. Guys, I know I should have spoken about this earlier, but I had to add some things. Okay, let's imagine Nara Smith is copying from Onezwa. That is the thing with big brands, a big person, a big person with a large following. Whenever they copy ideas from small creators, the odd is always going to be in their favor because they have a large following. And they're going to play that card. That card where big brands are caught, copying ideas from a smaller creator. They're going to play I don't even have time. I don't even watch other content creators. I don't have that time. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. Besides, they have the money. They can always say, oh, I paid so person to, get me this, and we worked hard. We tested this in the labs, and I did my research and I came up with this. So all these things are going to affect how people see them. And whenever it's the bigger person, the crowd is always going to go for the bigger person and say, oh, how can this person copy you? Who are you? But maybe these big brands, they go about looking for smaller content creators who don't have the muscle, who don't have the financial muscle, who don't have the the name. They don't have the name to fight their battles or fight their fight or talk. So the big brands always have a way of coming to the small brands, pick ideas from them, pick up designs, pick up recipes, and go with it. So that is it. And it is very difficult to settle this argument. Or is Onezwa calling out Nara? But how sure are we that Nara copies from Onezwa? There are gazillions of content creators, guys. When I started my baking journey, baking anything I can bake, it was in 2020 during the pandemic. And I will always ascribe whatever I know about baking, my first experiences, to Asian content creators, because I usually watch a lot of them and how they bake bread. come to fall in love with Asian content creators. How the big bread so neat, especially the Koreans. Yeah, yeah. Especially how the big bread, everything is so neat. Their cooking is so neat. I actually love them. And imagine I do something of that nature. Everybody's going to say, "Oh, you copied from maybe one other big person in America, in Africa." And but that is not even the actual person that taught me or that inspired me. The world is so big, the sky is so big for us, and when it comes to creators, there are millions of creators, guys. Have you ever discovered someone's channel on YouTube here? Like one day I discovered like Michelle Claire. I just got to know Mr. Beast. Who is Mr. Beast? Like I got to know Mr. Beast last year or last 2 years. I'm like, wow. I even got to know him from someone's life. The person was saying, as big as Mr. Beast is, there are a lot of people who don't know him. And I'm like, who? Who is Mr. Beast? While we're still on the live, I just typed on YouTube Mr. Beast and I saw this Mr. Beast has a lot of followers, like a lot of subscribers. I'm like, wow, it's like I've been living under the rock. So you can imagine how much we have a lot of creators. So the space is so large that ascribing somebody's success or recipe or whatever they cook to another person, copying another person, that won't fly. That really won't fly because we all draw inspiration from each other. So it also brings me to talking about brands. I have it here. You know how big brands act, like I've said, how big brands act when they are called out or stealing from small content creators. First, they deny knowing that, I know this person, but really they've been checking out or checking up the person. And they also use their popularity and power to get what they have and to say this is what we know because of their power. So now we bring it down to content creation and how content creators can, benefit from all this with regards to Nara Smith and Onezwa Mbola. Note, Nara Smith is from the US, so obviously she's monetized on every platform. She will be Instagram, TikTok. While Oneze is South African, she's in South Africa. I don't know how the payment structure goes up there, but when it comes to African creators, a lot of the platforms don't really pay. So the thing there is we have to advocate for the monetization of everybody's content. To be honest, I'm not really a fan of all this. You have to have 1 million subscribers, get 4,000 watch hours like YouTube in order to get paid for your content. We all should be paid for our content, irrespective of the number of subscribers. As long as your content doesn't violate the rules, it's up to standard, is keeping to the rules and regulations of YouTube or any other platform, Instagram, TikTok, and the gazillion of all those Web3 platforms coming up. So our platforms or our content should be monetized. If Nara Smith, for example, is said to be, you know, picking up from smaller content creators, because Onezwa is also alleging that she is not only copying from her or drawing inspiration from her, she's also stealing. That's what they use, stealing from other smaller content creators. If everybody is, making a source of living from whatever they create, I don't think the outburst would be this loud, because the anger is, she is Nara Smith, the bigger person, is stealing from the smaller content creators, and she's monetized, she's making money off of everybody, while the smaller content creators are just there, creating their content and they're not receiving anything. So if everybody can, get all their content monetized across platforms, this whole argument would not really be flying. Rather, we'll just talk about it and go. But as long as everybody gets to get paid at the end, so we have to advocate for, the payment of content creators, as long as their content do not violate, any of the platform rules. So whatever they do, we should be open to acknowledge inspiration from others as well. If you are inspired by someone, you say, like, I tried sticky rice today and I said I was inspired by living in the moment with Vero. I've been inspired by a lot of people. If I ever try to make polenta, yeah, is it polenta? So, I don't know, one of the Italian foods. I'll say I got the inspiration from cooking on the kitchen on the cliff. I'll say I got the inspiration from kitchen on the cliff with Giovanni. She's an Italian nonna. So I watch, other content creators and I get inspired. There's nothing wrong in saying, okay, I got inspired by so person. I watched this person and I got inspired to also try this out. There's nothing there. We are all watching others. We are all getting inspired from one person to another. So just acknowledge every other person that you're inspired by, and it doesn't make you the smaller person. It doesn't take anything from your creativity. It's actually genius that you can watch someone and also get inspired by what they do, and that's so lovely. So you either do it better, or you're doing it less. So when it comes to creators should own their craft, whether someone is copying you or not, whether you think someone is copying you or not, just own your craft. This is me, this is what I've done. Please kindly acknowledge me if you ever use my recipe, and that's it. Own your craft with your chest, and over time you get the reward. And that's why we no longer want to wait for overtime. We just want to start getting this reward now. So, like I said, platform should get everyone monetized. So all these arguments, and they said you're copying, you're not copying. So everyone at least will be, satisfied. Please, it's good for everyone to speak up. Get everyone monetized as long as our contents don't, violate the rules. What is there? Everybody watches and everybody, gets it. So Onezwa Mbola, calling out Nara Smith for copying, or not. If I say copying, it makes it mad, for stealing from other content creators. And Nara Smith, she hasn't responded because she's the quiet, from her content. She's just quiet, being her laid back self, and making her money. Whether we like it or not, she is making her money. So that's it. So whatever she does, like even if she throws up this beat now, throws it up as I'm throwing it up, they'll say I copied her. Even if she decides to throw up this beat tomorrow and someone watches, they say, "Oh, you copied Naira even before she did it." So being a bigger content creator, you're at risk of being said to, not really at risk, because everybody is said to copy you. Even if I do something today, somebody will say, okay, like I'm a Nigerian, somebody is going to say, I copied you, Dabasi. But the truth is, the bigger content creators, for example, they have people they watch. They are watching both the small content creators, they are watching the big content creators, and they're all, getting inspired. I'm not going to use copying. They're all getting inspired from one other's content. That is how big this place is. It's big for everybody. The sky is big for everyone to succeed. So I don't see the reason why the fighting should go on. So is there any other thing I need to say about this? You know, there's nothing else practically. So it's just that it is what it is. Nara Smith versus Onezwa Mbola. What do you think? Please hit me up in the comment section. What do you think? Is anybody copying the other? I don't know. On YouTube here, I can't see if there are comments. I don't even know how this works. Let's see. Your channel. Oh, okay. Okay, highlight. So I don't know if anybody has said anything. So that's just it. So I hope the the platform gets to start paying people, Instagram, TikTok, start paying content creators, as long as they don't violate their rules. That's it for the day, and I've tried with this live. I've gone live for over you know 29 29 minutes. I don't have a lot of things to say. Is there any other thing I need to say here? Yeah. So no, nothing much. Uh, Okay, guys, I've succeeded in making it 30 minutes. Yeah. Thank you guys for being here on my live today. I don't know if I had something more to say, I would have added it. And thank you so much for being here. I hope to, end the live now. I will see you guys next time. Have a beautiful day, guys. It's a beautiful evening here in Saudi Arabia. So, bye.